Hola clase. In this tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit about accent marks and where they normally go, and I'm going to give you some pronunciation tips. Starting with English, the natural stress on English words is on the first syllable. So we say elephant, library, telephone, elementary. So we stress the first syllable naturally. We don't say elephant or library. So you get the point. In Spanish, the natural stress is on the second to the last syllable. The second to the last syllable. For example, casa. Casa has two syllables, two vowels. We say casa. We don't say casa. We say casa. Enchilada has four syllables. We say enchilada. So it's where your voice goes up. Enchilada. Burrito. Burrito. And taco. Taco. We don't say taco. Taco. So every vowel is a syllable. So you put an accent mark or a tilde if you want to stress a different syllable. For example, esta, it's on the second to the last syllable. Esta means this in Spanish. But if I want to say está, which means is, like como está usted, I have to mark it with a tilde. Teléfono, teléfono. So it doesn't fall on this O, which would be the natural stress, telefono, which is how a lot of Americans pronounce this, unfortunately. It falls on this syllable, so we have to mark it. Teléfono. Teléfono. Más ejemplos. These are natural stresses. Elefante, second to the last syllable. Biblioteca. Now this one's kind of confusing because you see two vowels and you think, why aren't they separate? But it's called a diphthong when two vowels are smushed together to form one sound. And it usually has an I or a U. So there are a lot of rules about accent marks, and I don't want to go into it because of the scope of this class, but just know that there are some words that end in a consonant other than N or S, where the stress is on the last syllable. For example, all of these infinitive verbs we're learning, comer, bailar, hablar, the stress is on the last syllable. Más ejemplos. Words that end in other consonants, profesor, animal, Madrid. So those are just random consonants, and the accent or the stress is on the last syllable rather than the second to last. There are some patterns. If you see the words that end in dad or tad, like libertad, ciudad, realidad, those have the stress on the last syllable. And then there's some that have the stress on the last syllable that are marked, like the T-I-O-N ends in C-I-O-N in Spanish. Condición, atención, conversación, comunicación, celebración. But those are marked for you. So moving on to pronunciation, remember the vowels are short in Spanish. They sound like A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Okay? Don't elongate them like we do in English. Don't say A, E, because otherwise you're going to really sound American when you speak Spanish. Also in English, we speak with the back of our throat open. What I'm trying to say is that we don't have to move our lips very much. We open up the backs of our throats. So in Spanish, we use the front of our mouths to talk, And we have to move our lips. Have you ever heard somebody with a very thick Hispanic accent speaking English and they sound like, "Hello, how are you doing? I am very well, thank you." Because they use the front of their mouths to talk and they move their lips, okay? So when you pronounce Spanish words, remember to use the front of your mouth. Hola, ¿cómo estás tú? Estoy muy bien, gracias. Mucho gusto. You don't want to say, hola, ¿cómo estás tú? Estoy muy bien, gracias. Mucho gusto, with the back of your throat open. And you also want to keep the vowels short. So to recap, the natural stress in Spanish is 90% of the time on the second to the last syllable. Enchilada. Unless specified, álgebra. Álgebra. And the vowels are short. A, E, U, O, U. And you bring the sound to the front of your mouth. I hope this helps. Buena suerte.